Hello everyone, welcome to Prison Architect. I'm going to be doing a small let's play of this game where I'm going to try to build a very large, very efficient prison, and I don't know how well it's going to work out. And I'm going to go for a large area with fog of war on, so it'll be pretty interesting, I'm hoping. Funny story, I tried recording this like an hour ago and the power went out for the entire city. Now, I have a small issue with that. Mainly, how does the entire city lose power in the middle of the day when it's bright and sunny and the weather is nice and calm? When earlier the same day we had a huge amount of rainfall and storms. That normally would cause power loss. How does that even happen? There's the center of the map. Okay, so I had explained earlier that I like to try to find the exact center of the map and mark it out, because it makes it a little bit easier to design your prison in a symmetrical pattern. And I know for a large map, the center is 96 and 80. So 96 across, 80 down. I'm getting some really bad leg spikes out of nowhere. Oh well, it should be fine. So, after I find the center of the map, I like to make a 3 wide hallway all the way down to the middle. Just to kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. And I like my prisons to have 3 wide hallways. It just makes it so that there's a little bit more room for people to be walking around and stuff. And all around just kind of looks a little bit nicer than a single wide hallway. And it's a little bit more efficient than a double wide hallway because you have a lot of single wide doors. And if you have double wide jail doors, you have to have a guard open it every time someone wants through. Which is annoying. So this is going to be the entrance area. We're going to move the deliveries over. So the deliveries will get dropped off right there. And the garbage, it can stay here for right now. So something I've been kind of thinking up is a different way of designing my prisons. Normally I go with a 35 by 25 square, or it's a 35 by something square. And I usually fill that up with some cells, and it's got a 3 wide hallway all the way around it and showers in the center. I'm thinking of doing it a little bit different for a Let's Play to try it out. Delete that CEO letter. I wish it would not show up every single time because it gets annoying having to delete it every single time you start a new prison. Or every time you load up a saved prison where you already deleted it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and accept a grant. And I do have the More Grants mod installed because, well, it just makes a little bit more sense to have all these different grants. Although a lot of them could be grouped together into a lump sum area. Alright, basic security, yeah, that's a good one. But how about laundry plans and rehabilitation? It's basically the same kind of program, getting your prisoners into a work situation. So it ought to be a good idea to have them all together. Although laundry is kind of a want for prisoners, whereas work is just a bonus thing for you. And then there's all these getting so many people imprisoned, which I'll go ahead and accept that one because eventually we'll get 16 people. So it'll be nice to have a little bit more once we get that. So let's get a basic detention center grant and an administration center grant. And that's all we're going to focus on right now. So, right here we're going to have the staff area. And staff members require a 4x4 room. Oops. That's not what I wanted. I want the planning. Okay, so 4x4 rooms require a 6x6 cube. And there's only 6 staff members you can hire. Well, 6 office workers that you can hire. So, that, and we have a basic staff area. Or administration center, I suppose you would call it. Alright, so after that we need a holding cell and probably a storage room right across from that. And the holding cell needs to be at least a 5x5 room. However, I want to go a little bit bigger. Let's see, that would be 5x5. This would be a 6x6. So let's do a 7x10. There we go. Then do the exact same thing on this side, a 7x10 area. Yep, exactly 10 meters inside on both of them. So then we'll need a door on both of these. Perfect. Alright, so after that, we'll need to have the kitchen and the canteen. Now, if we're going to be going for a rather large prison, we're going to need a pretty decent sized kitchen area. Let's see, so this will give us a 10 wide room. However, I think we'll go this big, and inside it'll be 8 across, which is kind of decent. Let's see how well we can fit fridges and stuff in here. Let's see, we'll have a sink right here. Oops. And another sink right here. And then 2 trash cans here. And we'll put fridges along this wall. That's looking pretty much perfect. Then cookers will start along this wall. And in the center we'll have double wide cooker areas. And then quite possibly we'll have more fridges right along here if we need to have a lot more food, which I'm assuming we probably will. And if we need to, we can always renovate the kitchen a little bit later. So we'll have a door going to the storage area, which I don't think is going to matter very much, but it will allow the chefs to get out a lot faster to get the food. So, for the main area, let's design this with the tables in mind first. Actually, no, not like that. We'll need a door right here. So we put a serving table here, we can actually fit only one. It's not that great. So we'll slide it over by 1, and a trash can can go there. Yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty well. Have enough room for a 4th serving table. A little bit spare room for a trash can. And we'll go this big. Alright. Actually, we'll go one more narrow. Alright. So how are we going to set up the tables? Well, oops, there's an autosave. It's been 15 minutes. I think if we arrange the tables like this, we can get a pretty decent amount in here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And as always, if I need to, I can expand upon this area later. It'll just be irritating. I think for what we're going to be going for, this will work out pretty good. Okay, so that's settled. Now we need... let's see, we'll need a shower and a yard. However, I'm going to finish planning out the area a little bit more before I decide where I'm going to put a yard and a commons room and stuff like that. And I'll actually rejoin you once I get a little bit more of this thought out. See you soon. Alright, so I've got enough of the plans figured out to kind of give it an idea of what this prison is going to end up looking like. So, over here, actually I forgot to mark where the doors are going to be. This is going to be the visitation center. It's going to have multiple tables so that multiple families can come visit. And everyone can see their family and friends and stuff. Their lawyers, things like that. Right here, no wait. Yeah, this is the visitation. No, this is the visitation area. I forgot. This is going to be a security office, and here is going to be an infirmary. And then right past the infirmary is going to be a big area for the morgue. Just in case I have to kill a lot of people. Okay. Actually, I will make that an entirely different section as well. So right here is going to be the laundry room. It's not going to have this much stuff in there right away. That'd be kind of ridiculous. It's just going to keep on getting more stuff added to it as we get more prisoners. And over here, we are going to have the cleaning cupboard. Yeah, it's kind of big for a cleaning cupboard, but I want to be able to assign as many prisoners as I can to keep prison clean so I don't have to pay a janitor all the time. Because janitors suck. They cost you money. Prisoners are free. Free labor. And right here, we're going to have the workshop, which is going to have like 24 different machines in there, like 12 saws and 12 presses. 2, 3, 4, 6. Nope, this is not quite right. This has got 9. 9 by 3. That's 27. That's not right. I was supposed to get rid of one more. There we go. Which actually gives me room for another tables set, so I'll take advantage of that. More tables. Alright, so this is what the prison cells are going to end up looking like. We're going to have 24 cells per block. Or section, if you want to call it that. On top of that, each section is going to receive its own shower area, which is going to have enough showers to clean all the prisoners. And we're auto-saving it again. So this is going to be the shower area. It's going to have enough room for all the prisoners to get cleaned up. And this is going to be the yard, which is going to be walled off. And this is going to be the common rooms. Now, one thing we don't have yet is a utilities room, which I actually think might fit here. Yes, no. Actually, I don't think it'll fit here very well at all. Yeah, it won't quite fit here, so we're just going to leave that area as the morgue. Where will we put the utilities then? So why don't we put it right here? Let's see. It's more than enough room to... Yeah, it's plenty of room to get the pump and the power in. Wait, that's the kitchen. We don't want it right by the kitchen. This is the one I want. We'll have it here instead. Right, access from the staff room area. Though there's not quite enough room in here. That's visitation. We don't really want to put it there. So how about instead I make this somewhat asymmetrical and do that. It's going to be a little bit weird, but it will work for what we want. Basically, we want 2 or 3 different generators and 1 water pump, possibly 2. Now, one section of the prison I haven't gotten in here yet is a solitary area, which I'm going to have back here with an electric chair in the center. And from there, I don't know what I'll do with the prison, but for now, we have pretty much everything figured out. And I'm actually going to be cutting the episode right now because we're going to go on to another section of this series where I take a look at some maps that are available on Steam for people to download. Kind of a showcasing thing. So let's take a look at the first one. Alright, so here's the first prison, and it is definitely a little bit laggy, so we're going to pause it so I can get more frames back. Wow. This is called a super efficient small prison. And it definitely makes use of the entire map space, so good job on that. Let's let things get water and stuff quick. Power. Come on. Alright, there we go. So, let's see. The prison's close to new inmates. There's a thing that requests us to feed all the prisoners still, and it looks like it's done a very good job of that. They're actually making a lot of money every day, which is good. They have a small security room, which has a guy watching some monitors. It's got, looks like about 6 cameras around, scattered somewhere, anywhere. I don't know where they are. So let's see. So here's the deliveries area, and kind of an odd choice. They have the generators just out in the open in the deliveries area. Although I guess that works out pretty good. I mean, and the prisoners aren't supposed to be able to get out, but they do show up right here, which I think would be kind of strange to have the prisoners dropped off where your power's at. And what's to stop one of them from running over and trying to sabotage the prison? So let's see. From there, they can go to a holding cell, which is right next to a visitor center, so that seems to be a logical choice. And over here is the administration center. which they don't have their offices all separated. It's all just kind of out in the open. Okay, so what else do we have here? The cells, looks like they're separated as 4 prisoners per section, and it's actually like one block sectioned off to have 8 prisoners, 4 on each side, and then a shower with enough room for the prisoners in each section. So that's pretty cool looking. And then we have a common room area which has 8 TVs and 2 pool tables and 3 phones. No, 4 phones. There's another phone there. Alright. And down here we have workshops which have... They actually have the saws right next to the presses. I suppose that might make things a little bit more efficient, wouldn't it? Although I personally like having space to walk between them. And then they have tables down here for everything to get stacked on, so that's very good. Solitary cells, it looks like. Perhaps, maybe. Yeah, those are solitary cells, but there's no door. How do you have a solitary with no door? That's kind of a negative point for him. I mean, you could throw the prisoner in solitary, but he'll just walk right away. Walk out, leave, never come back. And then the kitchen, holy crap. There's no space to walk to any of these cookers. The sink is probably going to be always full of dishes. And the fridges, well, there's a decent amount of fridges, I guess. Although I'd say it could be arranged a little bit better. That there might not need to be that many cookers. I don't really know. So then here we have several cleaning cupboards, although from what I can tell, if you go to these deployment things and do jobs. I don't know. Actually, they do work. Perhaps that was something fixed in an update. Because I remember that at one point, you weren't able to have separate cleaning cupboards, which is why I make massive cleaning cupboards. Although if that's fixed, then that's pretty good. Let's see. So the laundry room has tons of laundry, but one table and no ironing boards. That reminds me, I need to have a table in my laundry room. Oh. It looks like a very well thought out prison. The security seems to be efficient, or sufficient, I mean. Let's see, how many guards is that per prisoner? Or how many prisoners per guard? It's almost 4 prisoners per guard, which seems to be what the game tries to push you towards, at least with normal security. Because you have to have 2 guards and you get 8 prisoners, so it seems like it's a balance. Perhaps it requires a different amount of guards depending on the level of security for your prisoners. I imagine minimum security you could have like 5 prisoners to a guard, whereas max security it'd have to be along lines of 2 to 3 prisoners per guard. So this is the high efficiency minimum security prison. Looks like things work out very well here. Let's put it into high speed, see how things go. Kinda laggy, but it works out pretty decently. They really pump out those license plates. I mean, holy cow, that's a lot of license plates. I wonder how much money they make in a day. Let's stick around for a little bit and we'll find out. Actually, one thing I forgot to check is, what do they have for the regime? free time, work. Free time, sleep. Wow, this guy's a slave driver. 3 hours of sleep, work almost all day long, almost no free time, and only an hour per meal. That's kind of evil. But on the plus side, they do feed the prisoners a lot. Like, I'm surprised these prisoners aren't all obese, because that is a lot of food. So we got about an hour and a half until midnight that we'll be able to see. We'll be able to see how much money is made. There certainly is a lot of sheet metal that gets purchased. Although, given that it's only about like 10% of the daily profit off the prisoners at a time, I don't think it's going to matter very much. Look at that, they produce so much license plates that they're running out of table space. I think in order to fix that, it'd probably be a good idea to put a table in each area right around here. And here comes midnight. How much money is going to be made? Okay, 780 plus. Holy dooly! That's a pretty hefty amount of license plate money. Okay, so it was 780 plus 21,000. So about 22,000, nearly 25,000 every day from the license plates, plus 2,320 from prisoners, and that pretty much makes it a 25,000 a day profit prison. Wow. That is a pretty decent prison, I have to admit. They did a very good job. It seems a little bit unethical, but can't really complain because it's a game. However, if this was real life, I'm pretty sure this prison will get shut down for unethical treatment of the prisoners. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and fave. I'll see you next time when we actually start building our prison and laying down foundations. I'll see you soon. Take care and goodbye.